Welcome back. It's still Morning Rush on Metro Television. We are looking at one of the diseases that is in the public sector. It's a major problem in Ghana. And joining us all the way from Sunyani, from the University of Energy and Natural Resource, is Blessing ANKRAH. And also, she is from... Okay, so we'll take a look at a short story first. And then when we come back, I'll introduce the guest.
Lymphatic filariasis, considered globally as a neglected tropical disease, is a parasitic disease caused by microscopic thread-like worms. The adult worms only live in the human lymph system. The lymph system maintains the body's fluid balance and fights infections. Lymphatic filariasis is spread from person to person by mosquitoes. People with the disease can suffer from lymphedema and elephantiasis, and in men, swelling of the scrotum called hydrocele. Lymphatic filariasis is a leading cause of permanent disability worldwide. Communities frequently shun and reject women and men disfigured by the disease. Affected people frequently are unable to work because of their disability, and this harms their families and their communities.
Okay, so joining us is Blessing ANKRAH, and she is from the University of Energy and Natural Resource from Sunyani. Blessing, if you can hear me, good morning and welcome to Morning Rush. Hello, Blessing.
Yeah, I guess Blessing would have to...
yeah, we'll have to join us again. Hello, Blessing, can you hear me? Okay, so we just lost Blessing. We are trying to get back on the line, but then we are talking about lymphatic filariasis, and it's a major public health problem in Ghana. It is estimated that over 10 million people in the country are affected with the disease, and the disease has a significant impact on the lives of those affected, causing physical deformity, social isolation, and economic hardship. There's no cure for lymphatic filariasis, but it can be prevented through mass drug administration. MDA is a program in which people are given a single dose of medication that kills the germs. MDA has also shown to be very effective in reducing the prevalence of lymphatic filariasis. In Ghana, the MDA has been conducted since 2000. As a result of these efforts, the prevalence of lymphatic filariasis has declined significantly. In 2017, the World Health Organization declared that Ghana was on track to eliminate lymphatic filariasis by 2020. And this is a short brief on the disease that we are trying to get Blessing on the phone to tell us more about.
Lymphatic filariasis, considered globally as a neglected tropical disease, is a parasitic disease caused by microscopic thread-like worms. The adult worms only live in the human lymph system. The lymph system maintains the body's fluid balance and fights infections. Lymphatic filariasis is spread from person to person by mosquitoes. People with the disease...
Okay, so we are talking about lymphatic filariasis, and we have Blessing ANKRAH on the phone. She's an expert when it comes to... on Zoom.
On Zoom.
She's an expert when it comes to neglected tropical diseases. She's joining us all the way from the University of Energy and Natural Resource from Sunyani. Blessing, good morning, and thanks for joining us on Morning Rush. Blessing, can you hear me? I think you have to unmute yourself. The network this morning doesn't really want us to have this conversation. A major problem in the public sector needs that we discuss it, and we are trying to get Blessing to
all your viewers.
Okay.
Hello, Blessing, can you hear me? Okay, I'm told you can hear me, but your network
is... there's a delay.
Yeah, there's a delay. There's a delay.
Yeah.
But then, hello, Blessing.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I guess we'll just... I think that the network is really bad.
It's very bad. Yeah, I wanted to find out. The network is very bad. You see, okay, we are trying to get her on phone, not via Zoom, to see if we can have an effective communication. So I was trying to find out if they said in 2017 the World Health Organization declared Ghana being on a fast track to eliminate lymphatic filariasis. I wanted to find out what were some of the processes that were put in place for us to actually get here. So we'll see.
But it's, you know, I remember when they came in from the University of Energy and Natural Resources that you have mentioned to talk about some of the tropical diseases in the country, and that Ghana was getting rid of a number of them, but there were some others that were still very prevalent. Yeah. And, you know, looking at this, it's crazy, you know, and for most people, it happens in the tropics, in the forest zones, where, you know, the facilities are not there, and even the understanding of these diseases from the people, like you said, they do not know what it is, and so it will be attributed to some curses or something like that. And, you know, it will just, because if you are in a place and you see things like this happening to a lot of people, you just take it like a curse, because lack of knowledge, you do not know what exactly it is about. So it's something that needs to be talked about in these tropical areas, and all of that. So examples like river blindness, yaws, elephantiasis, all of those things are part of the neglected tropical diseases that needs to be looked at. And so really it's something that we need to talk about. We really need to talk about.
We have to understand what exactly it is, how the disease is transmitted, what are the symptoms. Okay, Blessed.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Finally. Finally, I can hear you. It's good to have you on. Blessing is speaking to us all the way from Sunyani, and she is an expert when it comes to neglected tropical diseases, and she's speaking to us from the University of Energy and Natural Resources in Sunyani. And Blessing, before we had you on, I was reading some facts about the disease, and then it said that in 2017, the World Health Organization declared Ghana being on a fast track to eliminating lymphatic filariasis. Can you tell us some of the procedure that Ghana put in place for us to be able to be declared that we were on the fast track by 2020, everything will be in the right way?
Okay, so what the Ghana Health Service actually actively did around that time was they engaged most of this community with high prevalence rate in Ghana in education.
Okay.
That's the first and important thing. They educated most of these community members on what lymphatic filariasis is. And after that, there was a mass drug administration. This mass drug administration is done twice a year, where the Ghana Health Service gives medication to people with these conditions.
Okay.
Whether you are with the conditions or you are not with the condition, whether you are showing symptoms or you are not showing symptoms, they give you this medication to prevent the condition. Because currently there is no cure for LF, there's no cure for lymphatic filariasis. So all we can all do is to prevent the condition. And so Ghana Health Service, after that year, actively engaged most of this community with high prevalence rates in education and with the mass drug administration to reduce the rate of the prevalence rate in Ghana.
Okay, Blessing, apart from what we know that is a major problem in the public health sector in Ghana, what else is it? How can we define it? What exactly is this disease?
Can you come again, please?
I'm saying that all we know is that it's a major problem in the public sector in Ghana. What is it? When we say lymphatic filariasis, what exactly is it?
Okay, the last time I was on show with Desmond and we spoke about neglected tropical disease, and it's a group of conditions that has the WHO has termed as neglected, that people don't hear about it, people don't talk about it, but they are in existence. And we barely actively or talk about it like we do with HIV/AIDS and COVID-19. So those tropical diseases, that is where lymphatic filariasis falls. It's a tropical parasitic disease, and it affects the lymph nodes and lymph vessels. And mostly what the lymph node does in the body is they produce immune cells to fight infection. And so when this condition, when you are attacked or when you have this infection, then automatically your lymph nodes can't produce cells to fight any infection in your body. So lymphatic filariasis is a neglected tropical disease, a neglected tropical parasitic condition. And it affects mostly the lymph nodes and the lymph vessels in the body. What have answered your question?
Okay, what are some of the symptoms associated with this disease?
Okay, sometimes when at the early stages it's symptomless, you don't really see any symptoms, and maybe that is the most dangerous aspect of it. And so as it degenerates, then some of the symptoms you have is swellings in the leg, swellings in the legs and the arms and the genital parts, mostly for the men. And most often, when there is high bacterial infection, it hardens and thickens the skin, which is mostly termed as LYMPHATIC. That's what happens. At the end of the day, maybe when you see people, just like you showed on your screen, where you have the big legs and big arms, that's what happened at the latter parts. And you begin to see where people have the lymphedema, the very big legs, and with big arms around. Then the men, most of the time is as a hydrocele. They have this large building or build up in their testicles. So we term it as hydrocele. And so those are some of the symptoms of lymphatic filariasis.
Okay, so I know you'd mentioned the procedures, government has put in place to help eliminate this, but what really has been some of the challenges faced by the team that is trying to, help, governments, to the Ghana Health Service and every other person trying to eliminate this disease? What are some of the challenges?
Just one, please, your question again.
I was asking about the challenges with respect to eliminating the disease from the Ghana Health Service, from those of you on the ground who are helping with this. What are some of the challenges you have encountered?
So currently, the main challenge we are having is education. There was those times where we are doing a research on LF, and amazingly, people don't know the transmission mode. And it was surprised when we started talking about mosquito being responsible for this condition. They were all surprised, like how, why? We all know mosquito is mainly for malaria. So how come mosquito is for lymphatic filariasis? So people were shocked. So this has got us to know that the education level is also a challenge. There's a lack of education. And aside that, Ghana Health Service is actively doing the drug administration, but sometimes when they go to these communities to administer the drug, just to prevent, because the drug is the one that prevents this condition, it prevents the condition. And so when they go there to administer there, some of the community members don't take the medication. They take them, they keep them. They don't use them, and they keep complaining that they have reactions. So when we go to the communities to do some of this research, and we ask them, why don't you take the medication? Oh, they have this saying that when you take the medication, you tend to have itch on your body. Some are even saying that, most of the men are saying that when they take the medication, it will make them, I'm sorry to use the word, they don't erect.
They don't have erection.
They don't have erection when they take the medication. And some will tell you that they have swellings where they take the medication, which are not true. Some of them are just hearsay, and people are just trying to create stories to give away or give excuses why they can't take the medication.
Wow.
But the fact is, when Ghana Health Service takes the medication to the communities to administer, they don't want to take the medication. because of stories and hearsay things and stuff. So one of the major challenges is education. So when we're able to educate the people, they know what this condition is, the long-term effects, the damages it brings, the loss it brings. I think they would then agree with the Ghana Health Service and take the medication so that we can have a lower prevalence rate of the condition in the country.
Okay. Anna?
Okay, thank you very much, Blessing, for this education. Really, really appreciate it.